Everyone was really excited, seems very excited about the opportunity ahead with Build for Rent. It's still in its infancy. The rules of the game are still being laid out for us, and we're collectively writing them. I'd love to kind of get your perspective. If you all had to take out your crystal ball and think about where this segment's going to be in 5 years, what's your take on it? What are the things we need to watch out for? What are the additional opportunities out there? How is it going to take shape?
I think it's going to continue to grow, Dennis. Right now, some of the builders are reluctant to say how much of their annual total is actually being pushed into the BFR space, because there's still in their mind a little stigma, or there's some cannibalization to the regular. So it's going to continue to grow. 5 years from now, I think it'll be 20% of all new units produced in the U.S.
20, wow.
Wow. It's a big jump from my earlier estimates in the event advertisement. I'm gonna have to update those numbers. Matt, what are your thoughts?
I mean, looking at the private equity groups tend to win. Look who's historically participated in the sector and who continues to jump in. I think they're recognizing that the American dream for the younger generation, under 30 years old, no longer seems to include owning a house, and it's more about flexibility and freedom that comes with rent and investing their dollars in other areas. And 20%, that's the first I've heard of that, but I wouldn't doubt it, especially as some of these technologies continue to develop in the space. That's the future is bright.
Dean, why don't you give us your take on where we are in 5 years?
I think it's like, what does the consumer want? And as there's different SFRs for each, the older group, the younger group. The younger group wants easy DJ at the pool, barbecue areas, fun, little backyard, so they don't have to live in a 2-story apartment and go downstairs and let their dog out in the middle of the night. So I think as the consumer the younger group, they can't sit still, right? So I don't think they have the patience to own a house. And I mean, I have 3 boys and I know that they actually have houses and they don't do well at it. But I think as the consumer still, the younger generation wants this product, and as the older group, I mean, I think it's going to be strong. And like you said, with the amenities, keeping the amenities fun and less work for the different groups all day long, this is a perfect business model.
Great, thanks, Dean. Steve?
Yeah, along the same lines, last year I moved my mom into, it's not really a build for rent, but the old Del Webb, in Sun City, Arizona. We're essentially talking the same concept that was, in the 60s and early 70s of, you put these repeatable units over and over and over, and these people live in this one area where it is low maintenance, and then you have your millennial side as well, that they saw their parents go through the construction recession, the housing recession that we had in 2008, and so to risk their money in the real estate market may not make sense, if they saw their parents suffer through that. And so I think the BTR side continues to just strengthen. I think it provides a lot of opportunity and a lot of runway around efficiency, around quality, and repeatability throughout the markets, especially here in the Phoenix market. I see it as being a success.
So with that, do you think it makes a starter on all sides of the business then? Not just for this segment?
I do.
Yeah. Great. Thanks, Steve. Appreciate that. And Margaret?
I agree. I think there is a great opportunity to, instead of adding to supply, folks like Rich are actually creating demand, because you used to be able to lease a new car, but you couldn't lease a new house. Now you can lease a new home that's beautifully spec'd, professionally managed. Someone will mow your lawn, take out your trash. It's just, there's an opportunity here. And as Steve says, for the boomers, they could maybe have 2 of these and go to a different part of the country for 6 months of the year. So I think it's affordable, it's attainable. And I really hope that Rich is right. It's a bigger part of the total going forward, because the simplicity on the construction side will make it much more likely that some of these construction efficiencies stick overall.
Fantastic. Excellent. Well, I love that. We'll have to track towards that goal. And I think there's a lot of positive reinforcement for the mission behind this session in general, which was, again, how do we use this opportunity? How do we seize this moment in time to drive more innovation in the space?